All right, this is episode 273, and this donger could be 273 inches. Look at how big it is.
Right on.
That's what she said.
And,
Yeah.
Okay, and now we play the music.
Right. Oh, my God.
Okay, now
From the belly of the Beast Coast, Glastonbury, Connecticut, this is the Cultra Trail Running Podcast.
I mean, whole new double.
We talk about all the fun shit that happens on the trails that most normal people don't care about. The language we use is fucking explicit and raw like the trails we run on, so don't listen with your kids! Cultra is brought to you by Patreons and supporters, and we are 112% listener supported, and support is good.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Cultra Trail Running Podcast. I'm your host, Art Byram, and I am joined in live and in person with two members of the Cultra crew. My two favorite ladies on the Cultra. Can you say ladies? My two favorite.
I've never been accused of being a lady before.
That's right. We're actually live and we're in real life. Like I haven't seen these guys because usually they're just we just usually see each other more on the Zoom calls when we record, but this is in real life.
And we're not in sweaty running clothes, which is really weird.
Well, I mean, technically, these could be running clothes.
Oh, yes. But we didn't just come back from... Well, I didn't just come back.
Okay.
I didn't either.
So
well, you did.
These are my running shoes.
If you take those pants off, I swear I'm kicking you out of my house.
Oh, come on. A lot of people pay extra for that shit.
Do you still like hang out in your running shorts as your undie-wondies?
Yeah.
Oh,
All the
I
time.
still don't get I don't get how it all gets crunched up.
Okay.
No,
so,
see, I like running shorts under sweatpants.
Oh,
okay. So now we need to tell some of our listeners they may not have heard of this. So, okay. So what Becky's referring to, and this is evil Becky Burke.
oh yeah, hi.
All right. Yay.
I know,
And
that's so
Celeste
weird.
Fong a Ding Dong.
Yay, too!
All right. Yay too. All right.
Me too.
So, what Evil Becky Burke is mentioning is she's referring to the habit that I have of not wearing underwear.
Yes, you
Right?
can put it that way. Or also that you wear running shorts as your undies, and they're bigger and they cling up, and don't they get around your jibbles and javels and just crinkle and then what if when you're walking in your pants and it looks like you have a lump in your pants, and it's not a lump, it's
I
my
don't think
shorts
men
rolled up.
don't they're
The
okay
lump in my
if
pants.
The
you
lump,
think there's a big
you
lump in their
lump.
pants.
Yeah.
But what if it's in the
I can
back,
use
not
any- I'll take any advantage I can get.
Men don't usually complain about that, Becky.
That's
like
right.
a-
It
like a
looks like
back
there's
lump.
too much down there. What are they going to, is somebody really going to say that to me?
But what if the clump is on the side? What if it's not in
mean,
the spot that it's supposed to be?
How's it hanging? Okay.
Oh my God.
Right? That's how that saying came about, is that people were wearing running shorts and the jingles were getting jabbled. And then people said, how's it hanging?
Many women were disappointed.
Do you remember? I'm not going to be specific. Oh, shoot. I don't know if you were there.
Okay.
Okay. There was a certain run that I did for a certain person that was 24 hours, and someone else came that I don't know. So this person would listen. They wouldn't. And I don't know the person's name. But this man had these really, really tight shorts that should not be tight on. And his bedibbles were
His jingles were jangling?
It was so creepy because you could see the shape of all three things. And then it was kind of poking from the side. And I'm a child, so I can't.
It was like an
not
arrow.
giggle.
It was like an arrow, like I was stupid.
Yes. And then I'm oh my gosh. So, and the person was so nice. And then they talked to me, and I'm literally like this. Yeah.
And you're just trying not to look down.
Yeah. And I just kept laughing and giggling like an idiot. And then I think it might have been Pom Poms got there, and I was like, hey, do you know what I'm looking at? And she's like, I said, what I'm thinking with the pink shorts. I'm like, oh yes. And she knew.
Wow.
It was
So did this get a
crazy.
vote of approval or a creepy,
No.
this is just
I mean, it was amusing and stuff, but the shorts were not meant to be that short. in the silhouette. No.
No. No? Okay.
I got a trauma story from a race.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was at a race, and it was a 169 thing, so we were having a get together after. And so I sat on the ground, and one of the guys was sitting on a chair. And, I think men's shorts usually have something that
Oh, yeah, a little mesh lining.
Yeah.
Yes.
That wasn't there.
Oh, I took it out.
No, it was traumatizing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that so most men, if they've ever experienced this, they're not expressing it in those terms like, oh my God, I can't believe I saw her naked. It was so bad. Said no man ever. Okay. I'm just saying.
Although we say that, but perhaps it could be the man that ran by, but I wasn't naked. Yeah, so I wasn't naked. But when you said it, it reminded me of
that incident.
When I did run amok a couple years ago, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I went behind a tree, and then someone was coming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't think anyone was coming. And so I kept scooting back as they were getting closer so that I would be out of their line of vision. Well, I was so focused on that person and scooting out. So you imagine me, and I'm like this, right? Because I'm going to the bathroom, and I'm like this, going behind the tree, like this. And there's somebody coming that I don't know. So literally all they see is me, like this, going to the bathroom, turning towards them, and nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, that may be true.
Yeah, that was not.
Yeah.
And then I got so nervous that I was like, well, who cares about the other person? So I was like, oh my God. So I jump up, and I was standing behind the tree. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, that's all right. It's okay. I'm like, no, it's not. Nope, you can't not see that. Nope, no. And he's like, no, it's fine. And then I was like, wow. And then when I started running again, I was so worried that he and I were going to be running at the same pace. And so I kind of had to decide, stay behind him for a little while and think. I'm like, all right, is this somebody that you can definitely pass and stay away from? Mm-hmm. Or that you're going to end up being around? Because you have to either slow it down so they're completely out of your sight, or blow by them and be out of it. And I don't remember which one I did, but it was...
See, I would have just been had to pee.
I didn't have to pee.
Okay.
That's the bad part.
That was the bad part.
Is that pee? Yeah.
Do you think that man has never gone to the bathroom?
Yeah, but he never watched himself go.
You don't know that, Art.
I
That's
wonder
true,
what
I
I
don't,
look
I
like
don't.
from behind, going to the bathroom,
no.
5 hours into a race, dirty, smelly, sweaty.
Well, he's still telling his kids this story.
Okay, but if you ran by somebody in the woods during an ultra and they were going behind a tree, what would you think?
Well, I would laugh. But if, this is sad now, because now as you said it, at first I got the typical vision that you get of at road marathons where men will go, 2 inches off the road and just pee, and everybody can see it, and you're like, really? So, which I'm used to. But then I don't know why I got a visual of this. I don't know, and it's not like I've ever seen his dibbles and dabbles. But I just
and
imagine
you had binoculars, right?
But I just imagine looking up and see, maybe because we've seen his bare biscuits, Bill. To all of a sudden
Bill
be running and look up and see tolerable
we're not
Bill
admitting.
all squatted,
wait.
pooping.
We're not naming names here.
Oh.
There was a picture.
But there was a picture.
I know, but we're still not naming names.
Okay, so we're not naming names, but I had a visual of someone.
Like hypothetically.
Right, and yes.
Allegedly.
Exactly.
Allegedly,
And
subject
if
to
I
errors and
did
omissions.
see that,
Where's
I
Fred?
think I don't think I would be. I don't think I no. I know I wouldn't be discreet because I'd either one start laughing hysterically, or two I'd be like, "Oh my god, I saw you!" I wouldn't. Whatever discreet is, I would be the opposite because I'd either be so nervous that it would be diarrhea of the not a good word.
Poor choice. Okay, all right. Let's.
Yeah,
gotcha.
so we'll move
I think
on,
we.
yeah.
I think we got
Yeah.
the idea here.
Yes.
All right. So, how you guys doing? How's it going, Celeste? How are you feeling?
I'm good.
Uh-huh.
I can't with this.
Becky's
This woman
just-
is insane right
Becky's
now.
just walking around. She's doing her taxes in the middle of this episode or cleaning her purse or something. We're not going to kill you with that story, though. But Celeste,
Yes, I'm not.
how you feeling? Because I just want to say this right now is I touched on it at the beginning or the end of last episode. Just that these are the holiday seasons, and I know that for lots of us, it's not. I mean, it's always like okay, I'm like all over the place. Holidays are weird for me because it's like a tale of two cities. They're like the best of times and they're the worst of times. And I expect great things from them and I expect nothing from them, you know?
Okay.
And sometimes you get, you know, I always hope for the best and sometimes that doesn't exactly happen. And for whatever reason, you know, that whole opera's been reliving itself for almost 60 years now.
You're almost 60?
Yeah, I am
No.
almost 60. That is true.
Is it really?
Yeah. I'm 59 and
Shut up.
7/8.
I don't mean it like, oh my God, but
Or-
you just don't look.
yeah, damn right, right?
Yeah. Okay.
To
If you
think.
ask my
I mean,
middle
I'm
child,
almost-
you're expiring.
Hashtag
I'm
hot
almost
grandpa.
30, so.
I'm not a grandpa though.
Close enough.
So close enough. Yeah, I might have grandkids. I just don't remember. No. So yeah, but this is the time of year that for me, I find it tough because like, yeah, there's some of the best times that I've ever had. And also some of the biggest disappointments, like where like, you know, whether it's family or whether it's, you know, most of the time it has to do with, I think with me, with expectations of what the time is going to be about and what, you know,
You're going to build it up.
yeah. And so like, and then like most of the time also it's the time that I'm back together with my family, which is just probably for everybody else, for a lot of other people too. It's just triggering as all fuck.
That's a good word to use for it. Like,
Yeah.
I think it does trigger so many different things. Like you want that, but yet it does trigger all different things, good things and bad things and things that you don't really realize. that it's
Yeah.
triggering.
So then like, and that's just like the time that you're together, right? And then after everybody goes home and then you're kind of there by, you know, I found myself this year, like after everybody left, I was kind of there just,
Processing it.
yeah, saying, well, like, okay, so why, like, I feel like everything's okay. So why do I feel so shitty right now? You know? So
I think it's important to remember that emotions aren't always logical. And I had a hard time with that. Like the first time I suffered from like major depression, I had a really hard time getting my mind around it because like in a lot of ways, like logically, yeah, my life is perfect. What do I have to be depressed about? And like so much of it isn't really like there's chemicals,
Right.
and,
It
you know
is.
what I
Your
mean?
brain
Like
chemistry is off.
right, it's so much different than that. So it's not always a logical reason why we're upset or why, you know, something bothers us or like, you know what I mean?
yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't, I mean, it's like, that's like guilt, right?
Right.
When you feel guilt, it's like, I know that like, you know, I'm like, I feel guilt every time I go to visit my mother. You know, she's in assisted living. Every time I go to visit her, I feel guilty, but I'm there seeing her. So why should I feel guilty? You know? And I feel guilty because like, why? Because I don't go there every day or, okay. I'll filter that out. Sorry. We're recording live and we're all like giving each other the weird eye look here. So,
It sounds like a shower. Let me go. Excuse me one second.
okay. Is that
no.
air conditioning? Oh, water. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay, Celeste. Don't sweat it. If it gets too bad, I can filter that out.
I can go yell at my husband to stop trying to be clean.
That's not what I paid for.
That's not what he paid for.
That's
he paid
right.
for her to be dirty. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. So it's always a struggle, you know, the holidays, because it like, yeah, it triggers you and then you're like back reliving the same shit, you know, in a lot of cases that, you know, you dealt with in the past or didn't deal with in the past. So, and I don't know, a lot of times it's not always that way, but you know, sometimes it is. So, I don't know. It's just like that. And then you're kind of like mixed in with the, you know, like when you have like a week where it rains every fucking day.
Yeah,
The weather
tough
has
about
been
this one.
rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was tough. Weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so first of all, so do you guys ever feel that way?
I don't know that I find that holidays are as triggering for me. I don't know that I've found exactly what my triggers are. I just know that when it starts, like I start self-isolating and I like have a hard time dealing with things and like I completely stop sleeping and, you know, it's funny how different struggles, right? Like, so there'll be times where I can't even think about going for a run because I just don't even have the energy to like put on clothes. Like, forget that, you know? Or sometimes it's like, okay, I am only going to be able to do like 3 things today and I have to bring my kid to the doctor and that's more important. So that's going to be the thing that I do. Or you like so I don't know that holidays are my personal trigger, but I understand that kind of a situation where, you know, you don't always, there's not always a reason, right? Or like, for example, you know, everybody's over and then they're gone. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, now what?
Yep.
So, you know, it's been different personally. It's been different after COVID because we used to have huge family gatherings all the time. And then when COVID hit, we don't. So now it's a lot smaller. So there's a lot less of it, you know, like Christmas Day, my parents came over. That was it. You know, that was it.
Yeah.
So no stress, you know?
Well, I think also too, by having those years with COVID where you had to, you know, you had to be in smaller groups. And sorry.
Into the microphone back.
That I think at least for me and so for, you know, some of my family and friends and stuff is that I was able to, on a good side, you know, see what stuff was like, just kind of like that noise or that, you know, whatever that you really didn't need. And also the things that you're like, this isn't something that I enjoy. And then being like, oh, okay, I can take that out. And I think that's been a little bit of a struggle now because, you know, we had a couple of years where it was just me and my family and we really, really enjoyed it. And now that COVID's, you know, hopefully it's not what it was a couple of years ago. It's like, you know, you've got people that are like, let's go back to our old tradition. And it's like, I didn't really enjoy that. And it's like that guilt of I should be doing that. And this is what people expect. And it's not what I want. And, you know, so that's just something about the holiday that I
get that. I get that. We used to have these huge like family get-togethers. And some of my family, we don't see eye to eye on things. And it was hard because, like, you know, like some of my dad's family can be very judgmental. And I won't put up with it. And so it was, like, difficult because I'm like, Dad, I'm not going to be around that, you know? Like, I'm not letting my kids around it. I'm not going to be around it. And he'll always pick, you know, me and my kids over everything. But, it, you know, it was like COVID gave us the excuse to get away from these people. And now I don't have to deal with them anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you kind of can realize, too, what truly is like something that's toxic for you and what isn't toxic for you, you know, and what really, like, what you want to sacrifice for and what you don't. So there's like certain things that I'm like, I really don't necessarily enjoy this, but what it represents to me or what it represents to my children or to, you know, my mom or something, then it's like, okay, it's worth it. I'm going to do it. But then other things where I'm like, you know what? I I know this is expected and I'm going to be the only one that doesn't want to do this, and it's not going to help me very well, but it doesn't bring me joy. So I don't want to do this anymore. And that's like that's really hard. And that's been, I think for me, like I told you guys before, I've been on the struggle bus. I can't seem to get off. This has been probably the worst. This has probably been the worst year of my life. And I feel bad because I didn't mean to get upset. And I think, I've had all these different things that have occurred, and a lot of things that were good. But one of the things that I think even COVID came out for me that I felt like was such this good thing was being able to set boundaries with people and to really try and be authentic and think about like, what do you really like? What do you really want? And to speak honestly and to speak honest but kind. And I think I've talked about that before, where it's hard because a lot of times when someone hears kindness and they say, be kind, that you're saying things that you don't mean, or you're saying something that other people want to hear, or you're saying things out of guilt or out of shame. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And I really don't want it to be done to me either. And it is a really, really difficult thing. And it's something that I worked on very, very, very hard over the last several years. And, my father passed away just over 2 years ago. And once he got ill, it's just, Art, like when your parents pass away and stuff, and I don't have.
No, my parents are good.
It just like for me, like once my dad got really sick and those dynamics changed, like it just brought up all this crap, and I was like reliving it. And then, him passing away and just seeing what stuff changes and what stuff doesn't, and how you're like, wow, this person's gone, but all the pain that I experienced around them is still there, and so I just did a lot of work on myself, and this year just was like this really tough year where I had instances where I really had to stand up for myself and stand up for my family, and doing what I thought was the right thing to do, and just not getting supported at all, and being like really knocked down. And it's just really, really like knocked the wind out of me. And I've always, for years, I've always struggled in the wintertime. Like once November comes, I struggle. And that was one of the saving graces of doing Boston was I get in and it's like January 1, like you have 4.5 months to get ready. So there was no like, I had to train. And so it forced me to do that. And I would plan out a lot of why I would always have my races planned out ahead is because I know that November and December are like lower months, but I need stuff to train for. And this has been such a tough time that I haven't even planned races, which is just, I have one race scheduled for next year. That's it. And I don't have anything scheduled.
Mean this year?
Yes, for this year.
You have two.
But that I'm actually signed up for.
You have the TARC race, right? Is that the 6 hour?
In the March. Whatever
well,
you
I just have the March one. It's the only one that I'm signed up
for. Comp too. You just haven't paid for it.
Well, I just haven't. Yeah, but see, that's the thing is usually I've got like a lot of my races scheduled, and I'm just not finding joy in running, and I go out for runs, and I mean
that happens though, right?
If you're one of the 11 people that follow me on Strava, I think that's what my number is, 11, 10 maybe, I don't know. Then you're probably like, what the heck? Because my runs are really slow, and a lot of times I don't know if you guys do this, but I'll go out for a run and I'll take a couple steps and I'm like, I don't want to run, and I'll just like walk and look around and just try to like focus that whole time that I'm outside on breathing, and it's just been really funny where I'll be running and then I'll just stop and walk, or I'll just stop and look around.
I think that's okay, Beck.
No, it is. It's being
right
in
now.
your
That's
head.
where you're at, right? I mean,
yeah.
you have to show yourself the compassion,
to
say, this is where I am, and is it where you want to be? Maybe not. Maybe not. You know, I mean, like it's not the kind of running that you're used to doing, and that's therapeutic for, I mean, maybe it is therapeutic for you, or maybe it's,
right. Yeah.
it's, but it's not the traditional type where you're like, I'm feeling like, like I have I'm not feeling good about something, and you go out and you just kind of throw yourself into a run a little bit, and then you kind of come out of there with a little bit of a sense of accomplishment, and then I don't know, it kind of triggers other things in a positive way, and allows you to say, fuck it, right? Or like I'm going to get, I don't know, like I'm going to get through it, or it takes some of the, at different times it does different things for me. I mean, sometimes it'll take away some of the rage, when I'm feeling that, or the sadness, but I mean, it's not a substitute. It's not a substitute for therapy by any means, but it is something that triggers, that gets me chemically going the right direction,
Yeah.
So, but I think that like if the times in my life when I've not been running well, I've tried to accept that the best that I can, because it's usually like, that's a good, if you look at my running, it tells you about other things that are going on in my life, right? It's a good, a bellwether of things going. Like if it's all disruptive and all fucked up, most of the time my life is disrupted and fucked up, so.
Yeah. And it is funny, like, to look back and think of, like, just for myself, and I don't know if you guys, Celeste, like, you couldn't, like, relate to this, but I think about when I was younger, like, when my kids were younger and I was younger, and it's like, time is so, I mean, it is still so precious, but it was like, I still wanted to have my own identity. And so I wanted to still do all the triathlons and do all the marathons and do all the ultras, and not all of them, but it was like, okay, but I'm going to, my boys have therapy this morning, and they have, speech, and then they have T-ball, but I really want to get in this bike ride and this run. So yeah, I'm going to get up at 4:00 in the morning and do it. And yeah, by 9 a.m. when I am off with them and all the other, families that are like, oh, I just got up and got my coffee. And I'm like, I did a 50-mile bike ride, 10-mile run, like whatever. I just felt like driven, like I needed to do that. And I just, and I got a lot of joy out of it. I did not get a lot of joy out, but I felt like I like this impulse that I had to do it, and I needed to. And now it's more of, this impulse to be home. And part of that is just my sadness and just feeling the way I feel and just kind of isolate. So like the self-isolation, like this is a big deal for me to be out because I haven't been going out. But I mean, the good thing is that at least I think over the last even couple of years been more okay with like being home or being just still and quiet and not, training for something that like constantly doing. But I'm not sure if other people can relate to this, but one of my fears has always been that, gosh, if I don't have something to train for, if I don't have something to race, if I don't have something big, I'm going to fall apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, all in favor. Okay, yeah. I think everybody's hitting on that
and
one. Like, you're going to be like,
fear.
I'm going to be like that person I was before I started running, like a non-runner and like.
Yeah. And
I'm going to be
so,
just like.
So scared to fall back into that. Like it's a almost irrational fear of it. And there are times where, when I've been struggling and I'm like, with all the medical issues I've had and I haven't been able to run, right? So I've hiked and I walked and anything to just keep moving, because if I stop moving, life's going to end. Like it's crazy sometimes how that is, you know?
And yeah, because it is hard to start running, right? I mean, like starting running sucks. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Like the first couple, I mean, for most of the time it does. Like if you've been like really injured where you can't run at all, and then you get back to it, it's like where you're finally allowed to run. That seems different. Like those runs, like even if it's a mile or I remember running one lap around the track to see if like, lacing them up and stepping onto the track, not knowing if I was going to run 5 or 10 steps and shut it down and say, nope, I can't do this, but being able to do one whole lap and, I dressed up for that shit, right? I dressed up
I totally
and then I
get that,
drove
yeah.
to the track. I drove the 2 miles to the Glastonbury High School track that Don Cabral, Olympian, used to run on. Actually, he ran on it when it was a piece of shit track. They only actually improved it after he left. But then just being able to run that first quarter mile was like, this is fucking great.
Yeah. No, that's exactly how I felt after having my boys. I remember going into the hospital right around the same time that I had done the Ironman the year before and just being like, wow, like last year at this time I was in the best shape of my life, finishing an Ironman.
Your first Ironman?
Yeah, yes. And, feeling like a total runner's high, that whole marathon, like just, and then being like, wow. And now I'm like in a hospital bed and like not sure when my kids are coming and if they're going to be okay and what's going on and just feeling absolutely, just no one knowing what's going on with my body and stuff. And then, obviously because I was in the hospital for a month, I don't run. And then I took the next month I couldn't run, and just getting back into the running after that, it was so exciting. Like I'd run like 10 steps before like my abdomen would feel like it was on fire from where the C-section, was and stuff. But I was like so invigorated by it and like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Yay.
So what are we, cause like I hear that and I've had that exciting type of running. But I've also had it where I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going out on my run and I'm just, I always feel better when the runs are done, usually, 99% of the time. But what do we have to do to get ourselves, what's the difference? What is it that makes that like exciting and new for a run, but makes like where we're saying, I just don't feel like running and I'm going to just stop and kind of walk? What's going on now?
For me, one of the really hard things has been, not to put this person on the spot, but she's probably not listening. Well, maybe she is. I don't know. But I used to run all the time with Amy, and it was just uncanny that we would run together and we would do these races and stuff. And we would just always had this thing where if you need me and you need anything, I'll stop, I'll give up my race for you. You'll stop, give up your race for me, whatever. Once we started, like, we both were like, whatever we need to do, but we just ran the same pace. We were like, did the same things, and we were just always in step with one another, and we just had fun. And so it was this great, like, it was just great. It was so, and we did so many things together, and we had like a small group of people that we ran with all the time. And then, people like kind of trickle out and stuff. And then, I was running with Reagan a lot and stuff. And I'm not like, you and I have spoken how I like to run with other people, but I don't like running in big groups. I get overwhelmed, but I also get too...
all those fucking autographs and like paparazzi son of a bitches. I get it. I understand. Let's face it. We all get it, right?
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
It's almost like, it's like, this is going to sound kind of weird, but it's like it's too stimulating. Like I like I know I didn't use the right word. Like the stimuli of God, that's so gross. Just holding the microphone. I know people are like, okay. Just like with all like the people around, and Art's telling me to move up my microphone. It just gets me like this anxious energy. I have to turn around now. I did not mean to use that word. I meant stimuli.
Okay.
I'm literally turned the other way.
It's all right. It's
because
just,
I can't look now, especially because whenever I put this microphone up to my mouth, I do think of dirty things. Not me and dirty things, but I just think,
other
okay,
people
you
and
know
dirty
what?
things.
I can't even.
Okay.
But what? I don't even know what I was saying.
I know. Fuck.
You get overstimulated when you're with a big group of people.
Well, I think you when
And
you
you
know
don't
like
sing
you
in
feel
tag
like
team
you're
back
talking and you're like I just end up feeling like part of me wants to just be calm and quiet, but I
Yes.
feel like driven by a motor.
Yeah.
And it just I get really overwhelmed. Like I get exhausted with myself.
Let's think about this though.
Although
when
many times you and I together,
Yeah.
but it's fun because it's just us. But if you put the two of us with a big group, we have broken several people.
Oh yeah, well fucking.
I mean, the two of
Over our
us
knee.
together it's just way because our energy is very similar like that, and we'll be like, and then I mean, we broke Jimmy. Who breaks Jimmy? Nobody breaks Jimmy.
Nobody.
Like you can't break
Hasn't been
Jimmy.
done.
And he was ready to just open up the car door
Shattered.
in Wisconsin and literally just throw himself into traffic.
Shadoobie.
And I felt like, you know what? If he tries to do it, I don't think I should stop him because I want to strangle myself. But yet I was laughing and I thought I was funny. And I thought you were being funny.
It was very
And
funny.
and we were a train wreck. Usually that's what happens.
Wisconsin.
But my point of
Oh,
my
geez.
story was I run by myself a lot now, and
Yes.
I don't have anybody to blame for it than me. And part of that is like really lonely, and part of it I need, and I know that I need because I've been doing so much self-reflecting over the last several years. But some of it is just like I just feel like, you know, and again, it's not like I'm asking all these people to run with me and they're all saying no. It's just, I don't know, but it's, you know, I've gone to races too sometimes where I go and I'm by myself and I'm like, I don't want to be by myself, you know?
Yeah. I'm like that, but you know, it's tough, Beck. I mean, you and I experience this. We know when you're out in front of the field, like most people aren't going to keep up with our shit, right?
I was like, what is he talking about? When you said
It
that,
used
I
to
was
be that way.
totally...
Now I'm at the fucking. Now I'm like on
Back
the
in the
ass.
back.
I'm on the ass end of the joke. You know?
I just got a visual of us at Colchester, and of course, we start running, and it was, you know, one where we, you know, did a couple loops beforehand, and we like started like right as they were rolling up the mat, and Art was so loud and I was like so embarrassed, and I felt like everybody, like the few people that were behind us and even the few people who were in front of us, it's like they were all like just like, you know what, I'm gonna stop and tie my shoe and let the two of you jackasses go by.
That's right.
Because Art's like screaming and laughing and I'm going, Art, stop it, you know, and
So here's the thing about, if you think about, because I struggle sometimes with the idea of running in big groups. But here's the reality of a big group is that you don't run with the whole group, right?
Right.
You know, even like if you're at a group where they want to do things like take pictures of their feet or do whatever, if that should happen, if that kind of thing should happen, that's okay, because that's just like hanging out in the beginning, right? That's not the run. But once you start running, it's like the most, I think the largest number of people that you can run with at one time is 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel
A
like that's a
group of
good
5.
magic number. Like,
And
and
it
over
is.
that, and then like 2.
That was the original Cultra, was 5.
Yeah, and that was my group too. Like
Yeah.
there was 4 to 5 of us. That's how
That's
our
right.
Christmas Eve run started.
Ringo, Paul, George,
And bingo.
and Pete Best, and you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I wouldn't be so afraid to go to a large group, is I guess what I'm saying. Is because
Yeah.
I've run with groups of 25 or 30 and I glom onto one person. I just like, and they're like, I'm going to stop and poop. I'm like, okay, I will.
I'll watch.
No, I was telling
hold
you.
your toilet
I
paper.
wasn't telling you that, you know.
Do you want me to hand you the wipes?
That's right. Yeah, I'll pick out the leaves, okay? So brand names only now.
Do you need some Desitin?
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that it's important at least for my, like, let's talk about the balance of connection with people when we run versus running alone. Like, because there's value to each, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's on a percentage basis, Celeste, what percentage do you run with other people versus by yourself? And what would be your ideal mix in a perfect world?
I think I find myself doing my really long runs more alone. But like the shorter ones, I like doing with friends, which you would think it should be the opposite. But, I guess it depends on what it is, right? Like I have some friends that I will not run with because
they suck and I fucking hate them.
they're fucking ass. No, well, like okay,
They're your
so
friends.
So one of my close friends is training for Boston, and we were talking about the cut the other day, and I'm like, I don't want any of your training miles. Like you need to train at your pace. Like our training is very, very, very different right now. And I wouldn't want to fuck up your training for my training, and my
I don't
ass
want
can't
you
keep
fucking
up
up
with
my
your
training.
ass. So no, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
so I think it depends on the situation. A lot of so the last few really long, like just for fun ultras I've done, I've had friends come for a couple miles here and there, like
Oh.
to make it fun. Yeah. I'm also different. I can go do 50 miles completely alone, and I can go with 50 people and be fine. So like I think that I do need some alone time, especially in the woods. Like I just need to be out in nature and away from people and listening to a book or singing. Nobody wants to hear that. And I need some of that like alone isolation. But I also need the idiot vibe that you get a lot of times when you're with friends where you know what I mean? Like where you're just
Absolutely.
100% silly or stupid or really talking about something deep and finding solutions or not finding solutions and just planning murders or whatever. Like just
you never know where the conversation will take you, which is always like fun and weird. Yeah.
But I do find that like those relationships that you have are very authentic. Like my friends, you know, I always say I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but the people that I'm friends with, they love who I am. They don't love any fakeness. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because like I'm out there being who I am because I don't have a choice. I'm like tired and cranky.
But here's the thing, like people who don't know you could get the impression that you're very fake. Do you know what I mean by that? Right?
Because I'm over the fucking top.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I'm way over the top.
Your exterior is like hey, here I am, like, bah!
Oh, 100%. And again, that's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. Like, some people actually, I have a friend now who's like, the first time I met you, I was petrified of you.
So what's the real Celeste then?
I think that I am over the top and all that, but if you take the time, I'm also going to be 100% real and share. Like, I overshare. Like, I'll tell you anything, mostly. But for real, like, I'm okay with oversharing. And the one, I guess, good thing in my life now is like this kind of, I don't want to say I don't care because I am extremely sensitive in a way, but at the same time, it's like, okay, if I am who I am and you don't like me, then I mean,
it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not like you want people to not like you, but you're okay with it and you realize it's not like
right. But if you don't like me because I am who I am, then at least you don't like who I am. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't like me because I'm pretending to be somebody.
Go listen to Ginger Runner.
What?
Go listen to Ginger Runner.
Exactly.
Right?
Like I don't.
I don't even listen to Ginger Runner, so I don't even know.
I don't even know what a Ginger Runner is, but
no,
that woman with the long.
No.
Oh.
It's
I was thinking of this woman.
Yeah, I shouldn't like slam them because like I don't even know them. So.
Though it's somebody we won't say who.
Newberry? Jeez, I should know this, right?
I don't know what I thought you were talking
You know
about. A
who's
woman.
an awesome ginger runner? Is Sam Dibdall. That's
Yeah,
the only
yeah,
ginger
yeah.
runner
Dibby
that
doll.
matters.
Yeah.
Who I'm
Dibby
talking-
doll.
Yeah, but no, I don't. What's that
Dibby
song
doll.
lyric? Something like, I'd rather you hate me for who I am. Or is it, I don't remember the exact.
Oh,
You know
yes,
what I'm
but I also have like this saying, although it's probably not the same thing.
But that's it. Like, I'd rather you hate me for who I am than love me for someone I'm
Who I'm
not.
not.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, my phone's right here.
Okay.
All right. I could be reading a quote that has nothing to do with what Celeste said, but I think it does. And I really liked it, and that's why I put it on my phone. And it says, I prefer to be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others, rather than to be false and to incur my own abhorrence.
no, that makes sense.
Is that a Bible verse?
No, it's by Frederick Douglass.
Oh, okay.
It's a little, but I think that I just, when I read it and I saw it, just, I think it really spoke so much to me. Because
You have
I don't
that
know
on
if
the-
it's
you
my
have that on the
age
back
or
of your
something.
phone.
Yeah, my phone, because I really like reading it and seeing it.
I was going to get a sticker from my phone that says, we do not eat our allies, but that's different.
But we do.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Well, I think too, it's different where, at least with me, and although now lately it's just not feeling that way, but I think when you get to be more comfortable with who you are, then there's not as much like fear of others not liking you. Like I don't really take as much offense to that. Like if if someone's like, I really just don't like you, like I don't wish anything bad upon you, but yeah, I don't really like you.
I mean,
Like, that
yeah,
just
it
feels
hurts,
more
right?
okay to
but
me.
also, it's like, okay.
We
Like,
agree
that
to
feels-
disagree.
Yeah, then
okay.
then to, at least for me, like I would rather, I'd rather be like kind and respectful to someone, and just be like, yeah, but I don't really like you, and that's okay because I don't have to like you, and that
But
doesn't
we
mean
don't
that there's
say that
anything
you
bad.
don't say that to anybody, right? Like, I don't like you.
No, well, I have.
I mean, I say that to my friends
like, say
all
that
the
to-
time.
No, but in a serious,
Yes.
No, but you know, it's, like,
I did like in that, was part of my, but it was something that by the time it got to that point, it had to be there,
Oh,
and it had
gotcha,
to be
gotcha.
something where, I was, like, okay, like I don't like you,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't respect you, and I'm really sorry. I don't want to hurt you because I really
Yeah.
didn't want to hurt this person, and I didn't mean any harm to that person. And I felt like the most respectful thing that I could do was be honest and in the kindest way that I could, and be like, yeah, I don't, and I don't have respect for you, and I'm sorry that because that stinks. Because I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want someone to not like me and to not respect me. It wouldn't be like, yay, someone doesn't like me and they don't respect me. But at the same point, I know that there's certain things that I do that can trigger other people that have nothing to do with why I'm doing it or why I'm not. And I can't control that. And then just other things that other people just don't like, or things that I believe in that others don't. And yet it's not a bad thing. But I think sometimes when people can't take that, and this person, again, it was hard, but it was pretty bad to get to that bad of a place anyways.
Yeah.
Where it was like, hey, let's be respectful of one another and just, and they were like, nope, you're horrible and you should rot in hell. and and it's like, and I want you to change this, and this. And you're like, well, no, but like, it's okay. Like, you don't like me, and that's okay. That's okay that you don't. That's okay.
Yeah.
And you don't wish me any harm, and I don't wish you any harm, and we can still be respectful to one another. And
some
and
I
some
think you're
people
kind of
can't
you're speaking
do
to
that.
a situation where there are people that you have no choice but
right.
to associate
Yes, exactly.
with.
So yeah, this
Like, because
isn't
otherwise
like,
it would be just like,
Right,
okay,
it
people
would-
I don't like, I don't hang out with.
yeah,
So,
right.
but
Yes.
sometimes you have
So
to.
this is right, that you bring up an excellent point that I just kind of glossed over. So this wasn't like somebody that I'm like, hey, you and I both do races together, run the same races. So we have to like each other and see each other or whatever. This was somebody that's like, okay, you're going to be in my life for a really long, long time. And so you have to get, but yeah, that sucks. I don't even know how I got off on that topic.
Gotcha.
But,
so how do we go from, like, how do we set the spark for that running? That is the running and the running I'm speaking of is the running that's a positive influence in our life. The running that gets us excited. The running that helps us, or maybe we should even start with, can the running act as a catalyst to jumpstart other parts of your life, or is it just a tell of the current condition of your life? I know they can sometimes it's one and sometimes it's the other, but which came first?
Well, I think when you said that, I thought of two different things, and I thought, of course, one of the things that I'm thinking of is as you're saying, of course, I'm selfishly relating it to myself because I'm in such a funk right now. And I was saying before we started that I've gained 18 pounds in a very, very short time. And that really sucks. And I feel it. And I know that I did because I just got weighed by my doctor. But that's what
But it is funny though, because it's not like, do you feel uncomfortable with that extra weight?
I don't feel good. But I think part of it is that I've been working from home and I haven't, and I've also been pretty isolated. So what I'm wearing right now is pretty much what I wear every day. So I think once I have to go into the office on Friday and I'm going to have to put on my work clothes and they're not going to fit. And there might be some crying. We're taking a laugh about it right now. But I think of, the other thing though is that I think of sometimes where you have people and I've done this and I've been one of those people where you get into running through something else in running kind of takes over from some other habit that you had. And it's like running becomes like that other fixation. And I think that's always that concern of, getting running to get a spark back is good, but also is running just taking over that, that other obsession that you maybe had, whether it was
you stopped drinking and all of a sudden now you're
whether
running,
you was
80 miles a week or 100 miles a week
or you were gambling or you were
shopping,
working or shopping or any. And I think so many, and I say most, but I think so many of us that do this kind of sport, and I know I've said it a zillion times, but I think there's so many commonalities where we're obsessive. We're an obsessive group of people that have
but it's also though it doesn't necessarily have to be obsessive.
No, it there't. But meaning in general,
yeah.
If you're, am I doing something wrong?
No, you're good.
Stop looking at my poll. I have to turn around again.
Oh boy! See, I didn't bring the bell tonight.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there's got to be a bell.
Oh,
somewhere.
you know what we need to have, Celeste, when we come here? As some people might remember from the olden days, when we used to record at Art's house, I don't know how Jimmy got put on it, but Jimmy got put on the ottoman of shame.
It was just there was a nice sofa, there was a love seat, there was the throne that I sat on.
Yes, you had your throne, exactly. I think it was a leather seat too, wasn't it?
Oh, it was massive. It was just it was.
And Brian and Joe usually sat on the big seat with the guest. I always was on the love seat with the chicken. Mm-hmm. I was always dressing that damn chicken.
And Jimmy sat opposite of me on the end because he was the new kid.
But we both started at the same time. And the funny thing is that we're all in chairs where the seat is the same height pretty much for all of us. And we're all in normal seats. And poor Jimmy is on this random ottoman that I don't even know what it went with.
It matched the chair that you were in.
but it was like lower than the chair. So that was the other thing is like we were like, and Jimmy's obviously taller than me, but it's like we'd all be sitting there, and it was like, you know, when you have like your big fancy, well, I don't know the people, but where it's like a holiday and you have like the grown-up table and then you have the kids table. It was like the Cultra podcast version of the kids table, and that was Jimmy's chair.
We didn't mean anything by it, but it just kind of happened.
It was so funny, and he was just so boisterous on it and moving around, and I don't know. I just got that feeling. I'm like, oh my gosh, we should have an honor and a shame here. Some sort of a.
We can lock you in the VR room.
Oh yeah, Celeste's got some funnies hanging from the ceiling there,
like something trapeze action going here.
There's some carabiners from my ceiling.
Yeah, just
some who's
carabiners. That's what
what's that?
Called.
Those are those
little clips. They're called carabiners. Yeah,
I thought that was a code for a dirty word.
It is.
You could have totally like come up with something, and I would have been like, oh, and then the sad thing is I would have gone home and been like, Brendan, do you know what
we got to get
is?
some of these beaners?
And he'd be like,
we should have totally. I wish I thought of it.
Yeah,
because I could have like really gone there, and you would have been like believing it.
Yeah. But I would have ruined it too because I ruin all that kind of stuff.
Ding,
anyway,
ding.
Sorry.
So how do we get back the magic? Do we have to invite in other people? Or what?
Wait,
how do we spark it? Get the spark
wrong
going.
subject. Okay, I think that might be a way to start it. Right, is to maybe plan a group run every week, and it doesn't have to be a big group, but just like, okay, every Wednesday at this time, these people are going to get together and they're going to run. And now you've got like an accountability partner, whether it's one person, two people, whatever. You've got this accountability, but you also have someone you want to spend time with, right? And then the running kind of becomes secondary to it, if that makes sense. Like you're just spending time with someone or a couple of people that you love and you want to spend time with them. And then all of a sudden it's like you'll start looking forward to that. That's actually how I found my idiot group. We started every Wednesday morning, we'd get together and go for a run. And now I would like kill for these people. So like, you know.
Yeah.
I got my, like, the time that I got most, or one of the times that I got most excited about my running was after an injury. Coming back, I just made the decision to run all the Blue Blaze trails.
That year was great for me too when I did that.
Yeah, and it was just like I just got into this groove where it started out. I would just run sometimes just like a mile and a half in and then back, or 3 miles or whatever it was, just to get that section. And if I walked or had to do whatever, it didn't matter because I was recovering. But I was going to new places and I was making progress.
So what you're saying is you want me to injure you so that when you can come back.
Yes.
Well, that's funny that you say that because, and it's obviously not at all, but one of the things, and it's literally only been 2 weeks, but where the last 2 weekends I've gone to different sections of the Blue Blaze Trail of the Cut and just sections that unfortunately I haven't gotten to in my 2 attempts, but I will get to. And just went out and did them. And it's crazy because my runs are so short right now. Like they're, 3 miles, 4 miles is like really all that I'm doing. And on the weekend, because I'm going out and doing that, it feels like good and it feels fun and it feels, I don't know, like an adventure somewhat, I think almost like empowering to be like, oh, I just went out for, this many miles and it's okay, whereas, when I go out for a run during the week, like today I ran 3.75 miles and I was really tired.
That's like 3/8 of a mile.
and I'm running so slow and I'm needing to walk so much. And
is that okay?
It's just like, it's different. It's just, it's like, for me, it's weird because I'm going out and running and I feel exhausted, but it's like, I know that the exhaustion that I feel is not from running. It's just that I just mentally and physically, but just feel like my life feels exhausting right now.
Yeah.
So it's like you go out and you're like, oh my gosh, like you realize like how much energy is getting sucked up just by,
Dealing with shit in life, right?
yeah, just by being.
So if let's pretend here for a moment that that Reagan came up to you and said,
she sucks. No,
Let's
I'm
say-
gonna call
let's-
totally only joking.
I know. Nobody hates the monkey stuffer.
I know.
So let's say that she was the one doing what you're doing.
And she's been so great because she and Amy have been like, let's go for a walk. And I was like, die, motherfucker. But they were
Even
like,
so,
hey, let's go
probably
do this.
so,
And
honey.
I'm like, that's great. I don't really want to go anywhere. I'm just going to stay in bed.
Becky says no.
Let me ask
I'll-
the Becky
I'll
8-ball.
ask-
The Becky ball says no.
Becky balls.
Becky balls. Oh,
I asked
Becky
one
balls.
ball.
That's what this is.
The Becky,
that's
the Becky
that's
ball.
a B. That's not an 8.
That's right. We always thought it was an
The
8.
magic bee
Hold
ball.
it. Should you run with Reagan every day next week?
Yes.
Reagan's going to be like, they better say no.
Signs point to yes.
Oh shit.
Signs
Does
point.
it really point to yes? Let
fucking
me
says
see.
it right there. Signs point to yes.
Oh my God, this font is so. Stop trying to get it back from me.
Okay,
It
look
does,
at you
all
both not able to read.
I
This
know,
is
I
like-
can't, like that font
Do you remember?
is so.
Do you remember when was it Pippin who
Yes. Yep.
who found the stone? Who found what was that? The eyeball.
Palantir thing. The
What are you talking about?
And he got a
Lord of
vision.
the Rings with the
He opened it
I
up.
thought you fool of a took.
The
It was
fool of a
Meriadoc.
took.
It wasn't
Okay.
Pippin. I don't think.
Scotty Pippen.
Oh yeah, Scotty Pippen. That's right. Scotty Pippen couldn't palm this 8-ball right like that. Yeah. So yeah,
I thought you were talking about like maybe like this like press thing where he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna dunk the 8-ball."
we're in Middle Earth here. Okay, stay with us.
So there used to be over there where Chris's gaming computer is. There used to be a table there that had
going too
all
fast.
the Middle Earth Legos.
Beck,
Back.
you're pulling your cord here. You can't spin in your chair. This isn't wireless shit here. We need more Patreon money to go completely wireless.
Be careful what you're pulling on over there, Becky.
Yeah.
All right, wait, what chair?
But over there, no, just in the VR room. It used to be a table with Middle Earth, all the Legos of Middle Earth. And I used to have them built all
Wait,
there.
what is Middle Earth?
Okay.
It's Lord of the Rings. It's like the LOTR.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So,
Anyways,
so running, right?
right. Oh, right. Yeah. Back to that.
I think a couple things. One, I think you need to give yourself a break.
Right
I think
on.
you're beating yourself up because you're comparing yourself where you are today with where you were whenever, say last year at this time, right? And no matter what's happening, you're not the same person, right?
Yeah.
You're not the same person as you were yesterday. So I think you need to give yourself a break, first of all.
Yeah. For somebody who just went through the worst year of their life,
You're fucking still
you got to
standing.
give yourself.
No, really.
Honestly, like if that's in fact the truth, then some compassion for yourself.
Yeah.
And the same thing. Like, ask yourself, what would Reagan say to me?
Yeah.
God damn you, Reagan.
Yeah,
Freaking
she's
bastard.
Too
Fucking Reagan.
Too fucking nice, making me look bad about
I
me.
know.
She's going to stuff your monkey if you don't start.
She always tries to stuff me.
Uh-oh.
No, but really, you need to give
I
yourself
don't
a break.
hear any
first of all.
complaining over there, though. Just saying.
And I don't know, maybe just. And it's so much easier to say, right? But
Right, yeah.
try and accept what you're doing today, and instead of giving yourself a hard time because you did 3.75 miles, be like, dude, I did 3.75 miles. You know, people can't do that.
That's
Right,
over a
yeah.
5K.
That is over a 5K. But
And
even if
it's-
you did a 5, even if you did one fucking
It's
mile,
over. Is 3.75? Is that over 3 miles?
yes.
It is.
Oh my
Oh
god.
God.
Fuck.
No, but I mean,
Well, and I don't. I think that for just speaking for me, I think it's part of the for myself, part of the struggle is that typically when I'm not running the way I usually am, I'd be like, or whatever. And I think what's scary is, going through depression and getting to those places where you're like, I really don't care, is very scary.
Oh, yes.
And it's not like I haven't been to that place before, but to get to this place where I'm like, I don't care, like it doesn't matter. It's alarming, but yet it's also feels alarming. And then there's the alarm of the fact that you're not as alarmed as you should be, where you're like, shit, this isn't good. And then you're like, shit, I think this isn't good. I know it's not, but not as upset as I should be. Whereas when things are going right, it's like, oh my God, I got a hangnail. But when, things kind of fall apart and then and obviously I'm catastrophizing. But for myself, I think with running at least, that's always kind of been, and not always, I shouldn't say that always, because this is not, having struggles at this time of year is not new for me. And it hasn't been, for many years. It's just been particularly bad. But kind of going out for that run and that, like, getting those endorphins and feeling like alive and just because I've talked about this before where I take in a lot around me, like I take in the scenes and the smells and the sights and stuff and kind of going out now and just, not taking all of that in, like, because I just don't have the strength to take it in. Like, it's just kind of like, I need to be outside. I need to be breathing the air out here and just moving.
I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, like sometimes it seems like silly, like, oh, you're depressed. Well, why don't you just be happy?
Right. Or what do you have to be depressed about?
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So what do you do? How do you, like, is this something for depression? Do you think it's something that you have to, let it work itself out, or knowing that it's going to get better at some point? Or, what works for you to get through it? Like in the past, like since this isn't new, like what's worked in the past?
in the past, I would, I knew ahead of time, like these are the months, like it took me some time and before I all of a sudden was like, oh yeah, these months are really difficult. And I would, plan my races and kind of come up with little things that were fun to do and things to like look forward to and plan out my next year kind of before I got into my wah stage. And I
I'm sorry. Womp womp. Oh, is that like a clinical term or something?
Yes,
Fucking
it is.
Doctor types. I don't know.
Is.
Educated people. Womp womp.
And that worked. I would suggest that to other people. I think that I have to turn away from art, but I can't turn around because my thingy.
Don't turn around.
That
Uh-oh.
One of my problems, and it's a blessing and a curse. And it's my like blessing and curse because there's many times in my life that this has come in handy, and this is many times in my life that it's not. Is that I have this obsessive need to try and make myself better. And that sounds, I hate saying that out loud because to me it sounds very phony and it sounds very like, really, who do you think you are? And it's not what it just like, I have this need to try and be like, let me work on this. Let me work on that. Let me be insightful of this. And I do it of myself. And then I also kind of expect that of others and not realize that I do, but I'm always, if you tell me something, I'm almost always going to take it and be like, okay, well, how can I change that? How can I make that better? How can I, instead of going to that, who does this person think they are? And they're such a jerk, or what about me? Or, like I go into the psychology of it as well. Like I get into like the meat of it, and that's exhausting. And it's, you're never,
when you say you try to make it better, what do you mean by that?
just try to improve, try to see, what can,
in a good way or in a, or in like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Or, then if you're trying to make something, trying to make yourself better and trying to do better and trying to be better, isn't that a beautiful thing?
That's where it's a blessing and a curse, because it's where and a blessing, it's like great. Like, that came in, I think, I know I've said this before too, but when my boys got their diagnoses at 3, and I just went into this other mode, and I remember those several years that I was like, wow, this was when that kind of thing was a blessing, because I know that my boys are where they are right now in big part because they worked hard and they don't realize how hard they worked because they were so young. But part of it was just of me, bringing anybody I could into my house and into my family and into my life, and being like, how can I do this better? And, people would, you have people come in and specialists, and they, tell you that you're doing something wrong. And for a lot of people, that's really hard. I'm there, I know my kid better than anybody else. I'm their mom. And I just that just didn't even come through my head, because in my head, I was like, you're the expert on A, B, and C. So whatever you tell me, I'm not going to just necessarily do it, but I want to take in as much information. I want to ask a lot of questions. I want to get everybody's thoughts on something, and I just want to make it as good as I can. But it's exhausting because then you're constantly doing that, and it's and you're constantly exposed. And it's kind of because I'm also please tell me, especially with my with family and stuff, and close friends, although luckily I have wonderful friends. And so with my close friends, it's not a problem, but with others, it is that I want other people's feedback. And that's sort of to me, and you guys are going to laugh, but I sort of look at it like somebody just walks into a room naked, and they're like, let me show you all the parts of my body that I don't like. This right here and this here. Tell me what you don't like. And it's you're just exposing yourself and asking for that. And for other people are just giving that to you, and then just continuously giving that to you. And
so you're saying it's not just a matter of trying to make yourself excuse me, and make things better, but being dissatisfied with the current state of them.
Right. And if you're not satisfied yourself, if you can't be satisfied.
The compassion, is that really?
Right.
Yeah,
so you not having compassion for yourself, which is for me, being able to just say, this is what I can do, and it's okay, it's fine.
And it's good enough, right?
It's fine for right now. And that's what's hard, because a lot of people don't want to be insightful, and I want to, and it's almost kind of pulling that curtain back and seeing all the things that you maybe don't like about yourself, or you don't like about whatever. I'm bring it on, but it's also exhausting, and I'm asking for it. So yeah.
So it's having an open cut, though. It's you're hey, I have this open cut. Can you please pour some lemon juice on it?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right? And yeah.
So how do you get over that?
I have no idea.
That's the case.
Again, I think you said it earlier, Art. You need to give yourself some compassion. You need to give yourself some grace, and it's great to always want to be better, but at the same time, you also need to look at, okay, yeah, we always can be better, but goddamn, look how far you've come. Right? Right.
Yeah.
And give yourself the credit for, okay, right, I want to work on this. I need to do A, B, and C. But damn it, D, E, and F, I am excelling at. So I think it's very important that even if you're trying to do better or be better, to also acknowledge what's good about you. You can't just say, hey, show me my flaws so I can fix them.
That's
you
right.
need, it's like a seesaw, right? You also need the, hey, you're also fucking awesome because of this. Do you know what I mean? It can't just be.
You can't say, I am, I lost, I didn't win this race because everybody was faster than me. Or, I won this race because nobody showed up. Like, you can't fucking live in both of those worlds, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You gotta, say, okay, I have to view the world and view my opinion of myself, understanding that I may have a negative bias against myself, which is scary, right? To think about that, of all the people in the world that we would think would be on our side, sometimes we're the ones who are giving ourselves the hardest time.
Oh,
right?
100%. We're our worst critics, right?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you gotta take a step back and think, okay, how would I feel? Like, like your self-thought, right? Like, whatever you're thinking about yourself and you're saying to yourself, how would you feel if somebody said that to your kids?
Right.
Or
no,
just-
that's.
But why is
Reagan.
it? Why is it okay for you to say it to you, but not to your kids?
No, and
do you know what I'm saying?
I agree. I totally agree, and I think
it's very easy to analyze.
And I think that's what's really and maybe it's like I don't know, like I'm gonna be 50 in 2 years, and maybe it's just like kind of coming up to that, but
So you're like 12 fucking years younger than me?
Shut up.
You're like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, we're like the
Same.
same age.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're all, so you're like 12
We're
years
like
younger.
junior mints, and you're the peppermint patty.
We're 112
But
years
Did you hear
together,
that?
you are.
We're
But
junior mint. We're the junior mints, and you're the peppermint patty.
okay. I like that.
Peppermint daddy.
Oh, I love that. Oh, we would be the junior mints.
There you
Yay.
go.
Oh, see what you missed, Fred? You were not a daddy. We could make him the mama.
Oh,
That would be so disturbing.
sugar mama.
Fred is our sugar mama. I think I'd rather have you as my sugar mama. I don't think I want Fred as my sugar mama. Although I don't know that I want Fred as my sugar daddy.
Well, no, he
Yeah.
would be
But I don't know
peppermint
that
daddy.
Peppermint. Wow, as a peppermint daddy, then. Anyways.
That's perfectly fine.
Nothing weird about that either.
All right.
Was I saying something?
Well, no, I think again, like, it's hard to. It's like a spiral, right? Like, once we start down that spiral, right, and we start having the negative thoughts and things start going wrong, then you're going to notice the wrong and you're going to obsess with the wrong. It's just like, if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, right, and then you do something stupid like drop your fork. It's like the end of the fucking world that you dropped your fork. But like, if you were having a good day and you dropped your fork, you'd just be like, I'm gonna pick up my fork. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like that. When you're in that mind space, you're only seeing. It's like you've got blinders on. I only see the bad.
Right.
And it's very hard. And it's like clawing your way out of that darkness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
No,
is
I totally
very
agree.
difficult.
That is.
Yeah.
That is.
And I mean, to bring it back to running, it is like, this is helping me because it helps me to remind me, like usually a lot of times, like, I'll kind of like think about, what is my next year looking like? And, races that I'll do and different events and whatever. And so kind of like where my mind has gone is with like, just being like, just like, going out in a couple weeks when I have the whole day to me, and just going out and just going on a trail with whatever I have on my back, and just going out for however many hours, and then just turning around and coming back, and just being out there with no plan, no pace, no goal, no race. Like, just go out there and be in that and enjoy it for what it is. That's been something that I've been looking more forward to. which I think is probably it is a good thing. It's
That sounds like a good thing to go
That's
after.
a really good plan. Pick a trail that you know has like maybe some views or waterfalls or something, right? Where you're not caring about the pace, you're not caring anything. You're just like, hey, I'm going to get to this point. And when I get to whatever it is, I'm going to go up Rattlesnake Mountain. And when I get to the top of Rattlesnake Mountain, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to throw someone off. No, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to
Turn
eat
around.
a snack. Drop it low. No.
Drop it like it's hot.
Oh, no. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy
just take the minute to enjoy the peace of or the beauty of whatever's around you. And just breathe, you know? And even I've done that where I've like been like, okay, I get to the top of the mountain if I'm in a really dark place or something, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna read a chapter, or I'm going to check my email, or I'm gonna play a video game on my phone, or I'm just gonna take a minute. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And breathe and deal with it. And like a couple of years ago, one of my very close friends was dying, and I had to record a goodbye for him. We all like recorded videos because he was in hospice, and I literally went to the top of a mountain, bawled my eyes out, and made that video. And it took me, I can't even tell you how many times it took me to say goodbye to him. And there are times I still will go up there and sit there and think about him and think about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it just sometimes, you know, like just taking a minute. You know what I mean?
To be where you are.
To be where you are, and to be okay with where you are, and to be okay with, even if it's, you know what, today fucking sucks. It sucks, and it's okay. No, I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like there are days where just
I absolutely
where you're just
know.
overwhelmed, and just I don't care about pace. I'm just gonna get out the door, even if it's a mile. None of it matters. I'm just gonna take this time.
Yeah, I think like just the act of doing something for yourself, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what a
And
good
not
run
judging
is.
Don't judge it.
Yeah.
Don't judge the fact that, you know, my pace today is not my normal pace. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Who cares? You know what I mean? And I think that we judge ourselves a lot harder than we're judging the people we love, right?
Right. Well, depends on the person.
I said love. Okay, yeah, no, I'm a judgmental bitch, so I'm the wrong person.
No,
but you know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna judge. I'm gonna do some judging right now. So I just want to say thank you very much for
sharing.
about what's going on.
I was like, what are you gonna say? I was like all nervous. I'm like, just like what?
You.
No, I think that kind of honesty, it's important. It's important because I remember the first time I was really bad with my depression, and I was talking to another mom, that one of my kids' friends' moms, and she was saying it, and I'm like, I didn't even think, like, because it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like her sharing it was like, gave me the courage to go to the doctor and be like, okay, this is what I'm going through. You know what I mean? And to get the help I needed. Yeah. So I think it's important for all of us to be honest about stuff like that, you know? And I personally, from my, you know, because I, like we were talking about earlier, I'm very over the top. I'm usually happy. I'm like all this energy and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, and there are days where it's so dark, I can barely function. You know what I mean? And I think that it's important that we're all very honest about those things because that's the human condition, you know?
Yeah, it's not all about like douchey Facebook posts about, oh, I'm so pleased with my progress this year, and I mean, God bless you if you are, and there's nothing wrong with that, but fuck you.
But also, you know, but let's be honest, if all your posts are positive, you're a liar.
Yeah.
Because that's
I know,
not
but
life.
it's like you can't like.
I'm not saying I want all the negative posts
that's
too.
why it's good to have a podcast, because I can't like write that
all that shit,
you know. So I find that difficult to do, you know. Not I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Like I couldn't, like certain things that I'm like, oh my God, why are you sharing that? And then I think I am on a podcast that's had 270 something
million
episodes. So God knows like what I've shared. And I always forget because I'll talk to someone and they'll be like, oh, you know,
Yeah, remember
when
the
you
time
did
you had
this or remember you
diarrhea?
said,
You're
remember the
lactose
time at
intolerant.
Runamuck when you had diarrhea
And your ass was like
roots?
out and you had to like hide behind a
I'd be
tree.
like, wait, I thought you said you never ran Run Amok. I didn't, but on episode 270, whatever, you told us about. Like, but I do forget these things that I'll say, and then I'll talk to someone, and I'm like, oh my God.
I've
And
had
I'm
people.
thinking right away, like, who told you that? Oh my God, I can't believe when I find that person, and they're like, and I kind of look, and they must know from my face, because they'll be like, yeah, you said it on the episode, blah blah. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? I can't believe I said that. Like,
just for the record, everything we said, we were just kidding.
Allegedly.
I just want to say that. What do you say? Psych.
Psych. Oh. And I don't have a filter on a good day. And yeah, I don't have a filter.
but I think that ends up being. I would so much rather be with someone that doesn't have one because that's so like calming to me. To be around, like, if someone's just going to say what they think. And although I have a tough time of, I do have a tough time of when people say what they think and they do it in an unkind way. That makes me really, like, personally upset. But, like,
I was thinking the
somebody
tutu
could
comment.
Which tutu? Oh, that. Yeah, no, that I totally like. Yes, we all have to share
was
that.
great.
That was great.
But, like, you know, when someone, like, there's people that I know that I'll be like, man, was I just a jerk just now? And in my head, I don't even realize because I'm thinking, of course I wasn't a jerk. I'm waiting for whatever. And the person will be like, you know, I have a couple friends in particular that I'm thinking of that will be like, you were kind of a dick.
Oh, see, I'm always a dick, so I don't even have to ask. I just
But
know
see,
it.
that's the thing. Like, I want to know, like, so I'll be like, what the heck? And they'll be like, yeah, you were, and I'm like, really? And like, you were out of line. And I'm like, I don't think I was out of line. And they're like, oh, well, you asked me, and I'm telling you that this is my opinion. And as weird as it is, like, that's very comforting to me because I want someone to tell me that because I want to hear those things because I don't want to be a dick. Or if I truly want to be a dick because I can't stand the person and I'm really mad at them and I purposely want to. But what I'm saying is
See,
that
being a dick is my love language. So when I'm
Yes, but
nice
see,
to you,
when
you have to worry.
right.
Yeah.
But so then that's good. And the tutu comment was when
I had
Celeste
gone to
wore.
I had to go into the bathroom.
It was on our sunrise run, which was a lovely run on Christmas Eve, and we all got to be together, which was really great.
Like
very
the
nice.
crack of dawn, kind of.
Yeah, it was the
really
crack of
was
dawn.
the butt crack of dawn.
First, Art danced in the spotlight from my car.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was probably not even on 691 yet.
Probably not.
I'm always the last person to show up, Amy and I, and we're the ones that started this like 23 years ago. And we're always the last ones to start, and I'm always the last person to finish.
I was the first one there, but I always am. But so I had to pee, so I come
I'm
out of
usually
the woods.
the last one to finish too.
All right, you can believe that, but
So we've heard.
Well,
anyway, but anyway, so I had to pee, and I come out of the woods, and then I don't know, Becky, you had
I
said,
said it.
You're
I
like,
kept- 'cause I
what
kept
is with
looking.
your tutu? And I'm like, I look down, I'm like, oh, my tutu's stuck in my vagina.
It was so funny because it was all like in.
No,
it
it's
was
really-
all like in there, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I really was just like, "What's going on?"
And I
it was
think
just like
Fred
crumpled
died.
in there, and she was so funny. She's like, "Oh, it's in my vagina!" Like, this is the funniest thing because we were all like. And yeah, Fred's mouth was like on the ground, and I just thought it was so fun. And then you went to the bathroom again,
and I was clueless.
and it was again. I was like,
For the record,
afterwards, I'm
Peggy,
like, you
I saw
have to move it.
nothing.
Well, no. The vagina was hidden.
Yes,
it was just the tutu that was stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
And the tutu was hidden in there as well. It was very funny.
There was a whole damn wardrobe in there.
And it was one of those things that
Does anybody need an extra sweater?
We had all sorts of So actually, you could go to the Cultra store right now. We're selling these. They're, whatever you want,
But that's like the side of like, people that you really enjoy their company. Because I remember saying what I said and for a second being like, wow, how, like, I just said that. And you had that second where you were like, it just like seemed like you were like, oh my God. And then you just like blurted it out, and it was just, everybody had that like second of like,
she was the speaker of
us
truth.
did, and then we just couldn't stop laughing, and it was just so
I
funny.
told you I didn't have a filter.
I thought it was funny. It was great. I loved it.
Someone's got to speak the truth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
How long have you been recording?
7 hours.
Yeah. No, it's about time that we.
Yeah.
It's
Put
about
lipstick
time
on the
to-
pig?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to start to wrap
I don't have any
things up.
lipstick.
So, I think next week we have a special guest coming in. I think
Do
is
we?
that next week?
Is it next week? I don't know
think
the date.
so. Yeah, I got to look at that.
It's either next week or the week after.
And next week, I may or may not be at my boys' track meet. They were supposed to have a track meet tonight, but it got postponed and it's on Friday.
Okay.
And they both, just a little moment of bragging.
paddle that canoe.
They both qualified for states.
Oh,
Yay!
good. In what event or?
They both qualified in the mile. This is their first year of indoor track,
Huh.
and they've had a couple races, and it's just so funny because I was. They both ran the mile last week, and then
Like, how fast are they running a mile? I got to ask now.
they did 450.
Oh, shut. Okay.
Really? Good
So,
for
and they were
them.
like, yeah, and they were taking time off of it, and like they're just, but yeah. And then Brecken did the
Indoor,
the 2 mile.
right?
Indoor, yeah.
And that's harder,
they've
right?
never-
Isn't an indoor mile harder or no?
Well, it's like the air. It's like stale air, and it's a shorter, smaller track.
All
and
the smoke.
whatever, and yes. Well,
Are they
the smoke
running on a
bank, we
banked?
didn't-
They're not running on a banked track,
No,
are they?
That's really cool.
Are they going now? Are they going to Hill House?
Yeah.
Was that wasn't at Hill House though?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. So far, we've had one meet. They've had one meet at Wesleyan, and the rest were at Hill House.
The
There's
haunting
not
of
that
Hill
many
House?
meets. They've only had
I-
like 3 meets so far.
I thought that. Okay, so
There's
is
not
there
a lot of indoor. I think
there's
there's
not-
something weird in Glastonbury, like some like indoor.
Oh well, they run in the high school gym. It's more like a drift track. They just kind of skid around the corners.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Whatever, they have something that happens at Glastonbury High School. Like they actually have like a meet.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
most of the meets in Connecticut for indoor, for high school at least, end up being at Hill House. Like 90% of them.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it's a fine facility. It's great. It's,
Now, have you ever been to the Milrose Games?
I've watched them on TV.
Yeah, that's fun. I went to see them once.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. My old Studville Athletic Club went there. Mike and Jay and
I forgot about them.
my BFF Rick O'Toole.
Oh, yes. Your
We
best
all-
forest friend.
Yeah,
I love that.
We went into the city. Actually, when it was in the
did
garden.
then go to there. I've been to a couple of like the really big ones, and
That's what she said.
oh, that's funny. Oh, but, all right. So I just have one quick story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just backtracking for a second. So last week I went my boys meet, and they both run the mile, and they've kind of really close. They finished 0.2 seconds away from each other.
Wow.
Like 0.2. And so people are always like, oh my God, are they going to be? And I'm like, no, that's just, they don't get upset about that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have voodoo dolls of each other. Who knows? But so then later on, my one son ran the mile, and then, the 2 mile. And then right after that was done was
the mile and a half.
the 4x800. And they had to run that. And so he literally had, I think, 6 minutes between when he finished the 2 mile and he ran
6 minutes. 6 minutes.
and he ran a PR.
On PPR.
And so I knew my boys were 3rd and 4th. I'm ignoring Art. And I just assumed that, I'm like trying not to look at him. I just
Tell
assumed.
me, Becky. Come on, Becky. Burke, you're
And him in the VR room.
I know. I'm trying to put lipstick on the pig.
Okay.
I just assumed that the one that had just done the 2 mile Brecken, that he was going to go last. He was going to be the anchor because he just run. So I didn't really pay much attention to whatever. And I'm psycho. And I love cheering and stuff. And so, they hand the baton, everybody's, running, and I'm screaming and I'm, come on, Hayden, you got it. The third leg, come on, Hayden, you got this, Hayden. And then he does his 2 laps and I'm like, Hayden did awesome. And I took a lot of pictures and I was like, good. Cause I didn't get a lot of pictures of Hayden the last one. And I had a lot of pictures of Brecken. Then Hayden hands off to Brecken. And I'm like, God, Brecken's running different than he usually does.
He looks like Hayden.
And I literally say that in my head. And one of the girls on the team is like, Mrs. Burke, isn't that Hayden? And I was like,
I'm not an expert.
I know. I was like, yeah,
And then
that
your
is.
phone rang. Hello, with the
What do you
Bad
think?
Parents Association of America. We have a new award.
And I'm like, as Hayden's running to me, I'm like, come on, Brex. And it was just so funny because she's like, isn't that Hayden? And I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I felt so embarrassed because I was yelling so loud and so confident. And several parents came up to me and they were like, did you just totally get your kids completely confused? I'm like, yep. Mother of the year. Here I am.
That's beautiful.
I mean, at least you got that shit out of the way at the beginning of the year.
Oh my
See,
God, this
you own
happens
it,
so.
though, right?
Oh.
You didn't
Now
say.
you're just going up from
Well, I
here.
hoped that they didn't notice, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, you were doing so good! I was really cheering for you." And my one son's like, "Yeah, when you were calling me, hey, Hayden, Haiti, because I call him Brexy and Haiti," and I'm like, "Did you hear that?" He's like, "The whole gym heard it." But Sarah, it was
And
just
teenagers
like
are so understanding.
That's good.
I know.
Oh,
And then one of the parents is like, how didn't you know? And I'm like, I wasn't paying attention. They're like, but one wears white shoes and the other one wears black. And I'm like, and that really is and when I take pictures of them, I have to look at the shoes to see which one's which. But yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted to share that story because it was embarrassing and funny and ridiculous that this is not the first time and won't be the last.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Because I had another student have to tell me that I had my kids wrong.
Well, yeah, and plus the kids got to run with anger, right? I mean, that's like,
And that's why they PR'd. I mean, I'm just saying.
yeah, right? They did PR?
I thought you just said they
Or-
PR'd.
Oh, they appeared in the mile, but in the mile, I knew which was
The
which.
800.
And luckily, in the mile, they were right, they're pretty much together, and so I just screamed.
Hold on. So what was the last event that they were running then? Was that
the
a
4x800?
4x800?
Oh, or was it 4x4? 4x400.
4x400. Okay,
4x400.
I didn't know there was a 4x800.
There is.
Is there really?
In indoor there is.
Oh.
In outdoor there is sometimes, but yeah.
Okay.
But
I
yeah,
didn't know
so
that.
it's it's not their main event, but they do it and to help get points and stuff, and
Very
yeah.
good.
And I scream like the good mom who's screaming for the wrong kid.
There you go.
It works.
But ask me any other kid on their team, or other teams, and I can tell you all their names. Like I remember all of them. I'm like, that's so and so from HK. That's so and so from Middletown. And then my kids are, how do you know who that is? I'm like, hello, you've been running with them for 2 years, and they do this and this and that. And they're like, why do you know this? I'm like, I don't know.
Because I got a podcast. Do you have a podcast?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Suck it.
Yeah.
Don't suck it. It's bad. Bad, boys, if you hear that. No sucking anything. Nothing. A juice pop. No, not that either. Nothing. No sucking. None.
There you go. All right. Whoa. And with that, I think
Okay.
Wait, we never said don't listen with your kids.
we did. It's in
gonna-
the
he said
bylaws.
We're going
Oh,
to
okay.
add the music.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
we
It's in the
danced?
bylaws. Bylaws.
Oh, right.
So I guess that leaves us to, we got to thank our Patreons, and just remember that I hope everybody enjoyed our Patreon only episode.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. If you want to be a Patreon, how do you think you guys, how do you think one would do that?
It's actually quite easy.
It is quite easy.
Is it?
Wait, what is the link?
Patreon.com. Oh, no, I'm sorry. HTTP // : **, semicolon, fucking question mark. No,
And you better spell fucking correctly.
that's right. Yes,
That's FUCKIN.
yes.
We know we put a G on there.
Yeah, and
So
then
yes,
you
you go
just
on
go
to
there,
Patreon, and that's where, and you can do an
and it's
Evo
Cultra
Becky
Trail
donation.
Running Podcast. Okay.
Well, there's
There's
also
all
a
different
link.
ones.
Oh yeah, there's a link
in
to
the show
Patreon
notes.
in the show notes.
In the show notes.
In the show notes.
nuts.
If your shorts are too short, linking back to the beginning of the
Please stop
episode.
showing me your nuts.
Yeah. Okay. Public PSA, right? Like,
Yeah.
Let's keep
Keep the nuts where they
a
belong.
secret.
Right? Don't be Hundo Joe and run naked and keep those nuts flipping and flapping. Doesn't he run naked once a year?
Do you know there's a naked race in Woodstock, Connecticut?
Oh, there's a lot of them.
You responded quite rapidly about
No,
that.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
What month is it?
I don't know. I've never done it.
Okay.
I feel like it would hurt running without a bra.
You know, I wish that it would hurt.
Sorry.
Like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I didn't put a bra on. My husband's like, and I'm like, I know. It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just makes me feel better. Yeah, I don't know. Now
There
I
you
gotta
go.
stop tapping. So so be a Patreon.
Yes. Be a Patreon.
Be a Patreon.
Patreon.
Somebody's got to be, right?
Right. Yes. And
Oh,
And we
I know
do-
what shit.
oh,
This is what I had to tell. I had to let people know is that the Cut 112 is up. We have the.
did you put it up?
Yes, it's on the. It's on Ultra Sign Up. It's
Shut
not,
up.
It's not open yet.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, but if you wanted to help out
Oh, I got to write you a
and
check for that.
sponsor, oh, that would be great. Thank you. If you would like to be a sponsor of the Cut 112, the idea is that we're going to get a couple people together to give checks of $112, and that will help pay all the expenses along. And Cultra's going to pick up whatever's left over and cash all the extra money. And no, I'm sorry, don't even fucking joke about
and
that.
then-
It's not
and-
funny. No,
And everything goes to
So that all the-
yes,
for
so that
entries go.
100% of the race entries will go to Connecticut Forest and Parks.
Yes.
So that, in other words, we're kind of separating the two. One is the cost of the race. You know, we're not saying like, oh, the proceeds of the race are going to,
right.
you know,
Right. It's
so we're
your whole
yeah,
your
100% of the entry fees, even if you sign up and you drop out, and I don't give you the money back.
you just made a really good donation.
You did.
It's a donut, yeah.
Yeah.
You did. So,
I'm going to swear at you that entire race, just so you know.
yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
But here's the thing, like, yeah, there's a 50 mile. It's just 50 miles or 112.
It's 50, not 56. Isn't
No,
the butt
50.
56?
The bottom is 50.
it's 50.
It's 50 from
Oh.
Matterbeesa in the Monongahela.
I don't even know where half the names are. I live in
Starting
the
at the
state
Berlin
and-
Turnpike to the end.
Yeah.
That's right. It's the back end of the cut.
Yeah, the back.
Back end of the back ultra traverse.
Back it up.
The back end of the
Beep,
Ultra
beep.
Traverse.
So this year it's going to be the 112 and it's going to be the cut. I mean it's going to be the mutt.
No.
The mutt, they're not doing this year.
Oh,
I'm
so
not
you're
gonna
not
do
going
the
to do the
I'm not
mutt.
gonna,
You're not
we
going to
used
do
to
the
do
62.
100K, but it got. I'd rather leave that space because it's really a matter of congestion in the beginning of the course. I'd rather kind of reserve that for the people doing the cut, and then leave the 50 mile at the end. Which
so the 50, it's not going to be the first 50 miles. It's going to be
it's
the
There's
the
a
butt.
second
last.
50.
It's the last.
So it's the
50.
butt. Oh, so you
So-
said that, but yet I
Yeah.
still was thinking
So
of
it
the mutt.
starts at sunrise on Saturday morning.
The ass crack of dawn,
Yeah.
Yay.
and
It's
yeah.
a great course. The 50 miler is a great course,
Oh, yeah.
except for Tri Mountain. Tri Mountain can fuck off. But the rest of
We
it
did
is
Tri
lovely.
Mountain together,
Yes,
right?
we
That's
did.
when we saw Jessica Crandall.
Yes, we did.
Yes, and where you went to the bathroom like right before we saw her.
Yes,
which
and
was
she goes,
perfect
sometimes
timing.
you got to, it's okay. I understand. Everybody's got to pee in the woods. And I said, close, but no cigar, if you know what I'm saying.
Maybe now we know why Tri Mountain's so awful.
That's right. It's just payback. So we got that going on. So that's,
Yay.
that's it. So we said, oh, and also we got a whole bunch of new shit in our gear store, people.
Yes, and I'm
do.
wearing one of our hats, which Art gave me a hat, and then selfishly, it was too big for my noggin, so I got to trade with Celeste because Celeste has nice booby buns. And those are buns that look like boobies in her hair, so she can wear the bigger hat, and I have no hair, so I wear the smaller hat. But I love this hat.
Oh, good.
Isn't it
I
great?
really do like
bucket hat.
it. Is
So-
it's really cute. I like it a lot.
Then we
Like
have
it a lot.
we have a hoodie, like a blue,
Oh, yeah, I
classic
gotta get
blue
one of those.
hoodie.
Oh, yeah.
Then we also have a windbreaker, and the windbreaker's only going to be there. It's a temporary thing.
If you saw me on Christmas Eve, then you saw me in the right.
yeah, it has
Is
these
that
I
big.
took a great
Is it
picture
this
of
one?
you in that.
It has these
Yeah.
big ass letters on the back that say Cultra
It's
Crew.
like I feel like I'm in a gang.
Yeah, you're definitely.
It's really cool.
It's like a gang, except it's
is.
not a gang
Right.
It's
because
a
we don't
crew.
have a gang. We
Yeah.
just have a crew.
It's also orange, which is really great when you're out in the woods
It's
or
don't-
even on
It
the
is
road.
actually
Don't
a good
shoot me
color.
orange.
Yeah.
And then the black letters.
Yeah.
And it's like the
It's got douche canoe paddles.
yeah, it's not just like surface painted or something. I wore a pack on top of this in the pouring rain and went on
It's
the
really
AT
good.
25 miles on the AT, and it didn't even smudge or like the letters didn't. I didn't run, and neither
Now,
did
how
the
was
letters.
it? That's really good,
Right? Yeah.
especially for 10 p.m.
It's way past my bedtime.
Yeah.
What time
No,
is your
actually-
bedtime? What is your bedtime? Your bedtime's very early.
Because I got up at 2 this morning.
Yep, you did. So
Wow.
listen, I guess to first of all, everybody, thank you very much, and guys, it was great to get together in real life
Yes.
here.
I know.
We're going to have to do this again. I think
Yes,
we're going to
hopefully
start
we
doing.
can do it again soon.
Yeah.
You're always welcome here, so.
I'll be here tomorrow at 6
Thank you.
a.m.
Okay, not a threat.
Yeah.
You will be attacked by vicious dogs.
So, hopefully, everybody, thank you tonight for keeping
thank
it
you.
real. And if you're out there and you're feeling the same way, know that you're not alone in that.
And feel free to reach out to me. I'm not always the best with Messenger and Facebook, but I'll respond. And it's not because I literally forget that I even have Messenger, and I just will be like, oh wow, this person sent this to me a month ago. I'm a
Yeah.
jackass. But in all honesty, anyone feel free to, if any of what I said resonates, or if you're like, shut the fuck up, you can say that too. I'll
There you
probably laugh.
go. There you go. So, and we mean it also though. Feel if you're feeling depressed, seek some professional help too. Get somebody to talk to. Therapy's a great thing.
Yep.
I've been doing it for a couple of years, and it made just a world of difference. So when we say seek professional help,
Oh yes.
we mean that tongue in cheek, but we also mean it literally. so.
There are many times when Art or I will call one another or something, and it's like, "Can you talk?" And say, "No, I'm going into my therapy session." Like,
That's right.
and it's yeah,
Yeah.
it's something I'm proud of. Like,
Yeah.
it's I think it's something that shows strength.
It sure does.
To do that.
Yep. And I'm proud of you for coming and talking about it, Beck. I think
Yeah,
that's
Beck.
good to
That's courage.
to talk about that.
Seriously. Thank you.
No, really, it is courageous to
Yeah.
put yourself out there
Yeah.
like that.
Yep. So seek professional. If you've made it this far listening and this long and you're still listening, of course, seek professional help, and we will see you all in a mile.
Mile and a half.
All right.
And
Cultra.
now would it be the music going where?
Oh, yeah, music.
Boom.
The Cultra Crew, come and have a listen to the Cultra Crew. The large ass town, the monkey tune. Come and have a listen to the Cultra Crew. Cultra Crew, put Desatim all over you. Make your ass crack feel like new. Come and have a listen to the Cultra Crew. Fuck. my fucking...
And that's a wrap.
Let's ask the Becky
Oh, we got to ask.
Oh, what are we asking Becky Ball?
Ask the Becky Ball. We got to ask
All right, I'm
All right.
going to ask the Becky Ball a question.
I don't
What
want
is-
to touch Becky's balls.
Oh, yes, you do. What is the Becky Ball question going to be? What is it?
Will it rain during? We have the real King of Pain to talk about too. Sometime.
Yeah. Well, let's have a. Will it rain during the cut?
If it says yes, you're getting kicked.
What? It says reply hazy. Try again.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take it because that means
All right,
maybe
yeah,
not.
because that would be the first time that
Okay.
it's not rain that I've done it
Yeah.
or started it.
Could be.
Okay, if it
All right.
rains, we're blaming you.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Good deal.
Good night.
See you guys.
Bye.